to the big story this evening, viewers. Heavy downpours have brought the Silicon Valley of India to a standstill today. Roads of the city turned into lakes and waterlogging was witnessed in several parts of the IT hub, causing long serpentine queues and bringing the traffic to a standstill. The rains have once again exposed the knee-deep civic apathy in Bengaluru. Well, this is the second time in just 1 week that the Karnataka capital is witnessing such severe waterlogging. Chief Minister Bommai, who's facing ire over the current situation, has said he's keeping a track of the situation and has instructed officials to clear out the drains.
ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಮಳೆ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಈ ಕಮಿಷನರ್ ಮತ್ತು ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರ್ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಬಂದ ತಕ್ಷಣವೇ ಮಾತನಾಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ವಿಶೇಷವಾಗಿ ಮೊನ್ನೆ ಮಳೆ ಆದ ಪ್ರದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾದೇವಪುರ ಮತ್ತು ಬೊಮ್ಮನಹಳ್ಳಿ ಝೋನಲ್ಲಾಗಿದೆ. ಸುಮಾರು 30 ಕಡೆ ಮಾದೇವಪುರದಲ್ಲಾಗಿದೆ ಮತ್ತು ಬೊಮ್ಮನಹಳ್ಳಿಯಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಹಲವಾರು ಜಾಗಗಳಲ್ಲಾಗಿದೆ. 2 SDRF ಟೀಮನ್ನು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಳ್ಸೋಕೆ ಹೇಳಿದೆ. ಒಂದು ಮಾದೇವಪುರ ಒಂದು ಬೊಮ್ಮನಹಳ್ಳಿ ಕಳ್ಸೋಕೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೇನೆ. 30 ಜನ ಮತ್ತು ಬೋಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಏನಾದರೂ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಎಮರ್ಜೆನ್ಸಿಗೆ ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ ರಸ್ತೆಗಳ ಮೇಲೆ ನೀರು ನಿಂತಿದೆ ಎಲ್ಲವನ್ನೂ ಕೂಡ ಡ್ರೈನ್ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೂ ಕೂಡ ಆದೇಶವನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ಒಂದು ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ನಾವು ಯಾವ ಥರ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ, ಹೆಂಗೆ ಟೆಂಪ್ರರಿ ಡ್ರೈನ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಕಾರ್ಯಗತ ಇವತ್ತು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ.
We are at Manyata Tech Park, one of the newest built tech parks here, and it's completely flooded with knee-deep water. We can ask the cameraman and show you. So this is the tech park where all the tech giant companies are there. It is in the Bengaluru North area. As you can see, the entire area is flooded with water. This is the flyover which connects Manyata Tech Park. People coming to Manyata Tech Park to the ring road. This completely area is inundated with. And you can see I am up to knee-deep water is there in Manyata Tech Park. Many of IT industry giants have written letters to the Chief Minister saying that they are losing lots of money and their infrastructure is crumbling, because of which it is affecting the IT sector in the country. Now, the Chief Minister had assured them that they will do what best they can, but questions are being raised about the kind of infrastructure the state government is, and this is the situation here of the tech park, Manyata Tech Park in Bengaluru.
And to get a clearer understanding on what the ground reality is, the current situation is, let me go across to Deepak and Neha joining us live on this broadcast. Deepak, to you first, and we want to hear from the people themselves, because these overnight rains, the latest rounds of rains, have once again exposed the chinks in the civic infrastructure of Bengaluru. What are people saying?
Well, we're looking at the most bizarre things happening in the streets of the city. You can see a bike that's on top of a tractor. Multiple people, including us, we have just waded through water which is up to my chest level. At least about 5 to 6 feet of water in the place that we did come in. The tractor managed to get us out. We'll of course get off the tractor to speak to a few people. You're a resident here. How many people from morning have been rescued? What are the kind of problems you've been facing?
Easily from morning around 8:30 we have been here, the localites here, trying to solve the traffic issues. The company wasn't sure about if it is working or not, so none of the vehicle were moving in this area for about half to 1 kilometer. So we are trying to get it done with the local tractors and localite support.
Okay, once again, you're a localite here. You're packing your bags. Where are you headed?
I'm headed to Chamraspet.
What's your mode of travel at this point?
No, presently I need to go by this tractor and then I'll have to catch an auto.
Okay, what sort of did you face any inconvenience through the night yesterday after the rain?
Yes, I had to stay here for almost 6 hours. Till morning 6 o'clock I was here.
Okay.
We were expecting the water to recede, but it didn't happen.
Which hasn't. Well, this is in fact it's a tech park and multiple software companies here. Let me in fact get off. I'm going to bring you some more visuals. You can see a lot of people right now there. Let me walk past this particular area to bring you a better visual. We'll have to get off the tractor before I could probably show you some more scenes that are being witnessed in this particular area. We had to get into this tractor to get to the location that I am in, and I'll give you a better picture of the kind of water levels and what sort of inconvenience it has caused to this entire locality. Thousands of people, and their only means of commute right now are these tractors, JCBs, and vehicles which have a capability to in fact withstand that amount of water gushing through. Now you can see a lot of people stranded. Now this is the point where they're being picked up. Let me in fact take you a little closer. My video journalist Vinay will show you these shots. Now you can see some more tankers and tractors that are coming in, which are helping these people, and all of them packing their bags right now. One person I just met a little while ago he had to go to the airport. And he was getting late. He has a flight at 9. He couldn't even get a tractor on time and just managed to cross this entire area where the waterlogging has happened. And now you see another tractor with a large number of people that is just coming in here. And it gives you an idea of, how bad the situation is as people struggle. Now I'm going to show you the level of water, which starts maybe at about 1 or 2 feet and goes up to 6 to 8 feet here. And some people, of course, trying to get to one particular location from here, but it is not going to be easy. As you see the bikes pass through this entire area, you can see, the level of water only rising, and some of them, of course, daring to go right through the middle, and many people could get stuck as they pass through. Let me speak to a few more people who have been, of course, stranded, struggling, and, of course, hoping that there would be some sort of relief. Hi there. You already prepared yourself. Are you going to take the risk of wading through this?
No, I won't pretty much wait for this. I'll try to go by myself. Since it's pretty bad. Most of the roads you go, they're pretty bad. So my office was located next to HSR. I came next to Bellandur, it's blocked. If you go towards this road, it's blocked. And from even Sarjapur, it's pretty bad. Okay. So I took
Have you managed to reach office today, or you just been commuting?
I actually managed to reach.
Okay.
Surprisingly, I thought this route might have been free after crossing the Bellandur lake, but now again there's a hurdle.
Here. The Bellandur lake, meanwhile, of course, has been breached. The lake bund there has been breached and the water is overflowing.
Reporting from that area. Stay on with us, Deepak. Let me get in a sense from Neha on what the situation is. The lake has breached, boundaries broken. The water has entered into residential colonies. Neha, what's going on there? So much inconvenience being caused to the common Bengalurian today.
Well, that's absolutely right. In fact, I'm just going to let the camera speak for the visuals. I'd like to show you, we've actually come to, an apartment complex over here, very plush villas. When the residents of this area actually purchased these villas or bought these villas, they probably never, thought of a nightmare like this. And today what we're showing you is, from the Bellandur area of Bangalore, you can actually see we're reporting from, a boat over here merely because the water level is, in fact, quite high below, and it's quite dangerous even for the residents residing in this area, considering that, if they open their doors, all the water is going to gush in. From the morning, our colleagues have been reporting from this area, bringing us reports about how, cars have been submerged, people have been inconvenienced, and even right now, on the other side, where the water has just dried up a little bit now, you can see how people are actually, waiting to be taken to safer waters. On the other side, of course, are a lot of residents right now who've been dealing with this kind of inconvenience. I'm going to try and take this question straight to one who's on the boat with us right now and understand from him. So how troublesome is this area? Every time it rains, we see that people face a lot of inconvenience, especially around these areas of the tech parks and more so apartments as well.
Yes, the same way. Whenever the small rain comes also, it will be flooded like this. We cannot move outside and we cannot come inside also. We have to travel by the tractors.
Okay. And I'm sure, sir, this also considered a so-called posh area of Bangalore. I'm sure, you all must have been paid quite a bit for flats here as well. The taxes too, of course, of this particular area, relatively higher. So, are you, of course, at one point in time, are you concerned about the kind of infrastructure over here? That's a big question that's being raised.
No, earlier I was not known it is like this.
Okay.
When recently I shifted to this layout.
Yeah.
Now only I am coming to know this is like this.
Okay.
It's heavy, whenever the rain comes, it's a heavy flood.
All right. In fact, we're going to take this visual straight. There's a tractor that's just come right now, behind us. That's again come to help people out of this area. A lot of residents, of this area who've actually not been able to access or get out of the main roads. You can actually see the kind of smiles on their face now, just being able to get out of this area. Their boats
Neha,
being used.
Very powerful visuals, but I'm afraid for all the wrong reasons. You have boats being used, tractors being used to make sure that people can move from one place to another. But stay on with us and, let's tell you about what else has been happening in the IT hub. Not only this, the city's main drinking water treatment facility in Mandya is also shut down due to waterlogging. Fire officials are on the spot spot. They're trying to pump out the water. But if the facility is not up and running, viewers, then it could adversely affect the drinking water situation in the city as well. So that's another concern that's brewing. Waterlogging in the city seriously has injured a pedestrian as well, who fell into a drain dug by BBMP to lay hume pipes. Fortunately, he was rescued by a private security agency. The individual was found to be unconscious and was later admitted to the hospital. So that really can be a consequence of these kind of situations on ground. But as the IT companies in the city are facing huge losses, as their employees are getting stuck in long traffic hours, the companies have reached out to the Karnataka government. The Chief Minister has also come out with an assurance. Listen in.
ಎಲ್ಲ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆಗಳನ್ನು ಚರ್ಚೆ ಮಾಡಿ ತೀರ್ಮಾನಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿ ಪರಿಹಾರ ಕೊಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಅವರು ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ತೋರಿದ್ರು.
ಅವರು ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಸರ್. ಎಚ್ಚರಿಕೆ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಸರ್.
So you heard the Chief Minister there, as there are a lot of concerns of common Bengalurians at this point in time. We've opened our call-in lines as well. We'll want to hear from Bengalurians on what is it that they're really going through as far as this latest spell of rains go. But first up, quickly introducing, we have Suresh Neelamangla from the BJP with us on this panel. We also have Harish Bijur and Leo Saldanha, who's founder Citizen Voice. But first up, I want to begin with Harish Bijur. Mr. Bijur, you know, very important how the IT sector has also felt the impact this time. Do you think that the flood situation as compared to the previous years has worsened? What's your take on the situation this year in comparison to the last few years?
Well, the key thinking that I have in my mind is that we have built in places where the lakes must have been. We have built in low-lying areas where we must not build. So to that extent, I keep saying water has a memory, and water knows where it needs to go. Water from the higher areas will go to the lower areas. And if you have built, human habitation there, water will reach into the basements of these habitations, and water will eat into the cars and the parked vehicles there. So today we are complaining, but I think the proactive looking at it is to say that we must not build where we must not build. Let land be, let lakes be. So I think human greed has overtaken us, and that is a bigger point. Sorting it out is a possibility, but for that we need to sit together, plan and implement with vigor. And I think that vigor goes out of the window after the monsoons are over.
Okay.
So our memory on these issues are as fleeting as the monsoons are. Only this time round, the monsoon is not as fleeting. It's perennial.
And this is certainly not a new phenomena to Bengalurians as well, to Bengaluru as a city. But before I take this up to other guests, let's quickly bring in our viewers calling us this evening. We have Ajay calling us from Bengaluru. Good evening, Ajay. Hope you're keeping well. What's going on around you?
Hi, very good evening to everyone, and good evening to Times Now as well. And see, the problem, what you are seeing on TV on your channel, this is not the first time this has happened. And this is not the first time it is going to happen. It is going to happen in future as well. The problem here is, number one, the city is completely saturated. There is no space for people to build houses. And wherever these areas where you are showing on TV, all these floods, this is the place where there are big lakes. If you go back around like 25, 35 years back, all these places had a lake there. Okay. Now what has happened here is, the lakes have all disappeared. And where will all this water go? It will go to the same place where they have built these houses. So this is like a biggest scam. Okay. It is not to blame, I'm not for the government here. I don't even know anyone. But what's actually happening here is people are being so ignorant that they are paying so much of money and buying and building houses in a place where there was a lake before.
People are working there. They have to commute to their workplaces, and these kind of rain spells, if they end up waterlogging the way that we are seeing on our screens today, it's going to be extremely concerning over a long period of time. This is not something that Bengalurians face any one monsoon season. It keeps happening year after year, and that's what maximum people from Bengaluru have to say this evening. We also have a reaction coming in from the Chief Minister, so we'll put out those details in just a bit. But if I could quickly bring in Mr. Saldanha as well. Mr. Saldanha, What do you really make of this? Also, the fact remains that, very interestingly, also something that's worrisome is that Bengaluru IT firms have been writing to the Chief Minister. They've cited a loss of 225 crore rupees due to floods. They're saying that, you know, workers and employees are usually turning up 3 to 4 hours late to their workplaces. Now, this is certainly worrisome given the current situation and how it could largely affect the IT firms who are now thinking about relocating themselves.
So, IT firms are well organized. They have a voice. Their voice is heard by the Chief Minister, and he comes to see them. But the Chief Minister does not go to the neighborhoods where the poor live, and the poor are worse affected. They may not have been heard by the media, but if you go into the low-income neighborhoods, it's devastating. They have no chance of coming back tomorrow to their normal life. Now, if the IT firms are leaving, I think that's a startling indicator of how terrible governance is here. And instead of going into what were the causative factors, why we ended up here, and let me say this, the Chief Minister's response to this is to concretize the canals.
Okay.
And that in itself will cause worse flooding in the future. So I think we really have a very, unintelligent response.
Okay.
A situation
this is a concern that's been raised year after year, monsoon after monsoon, and nothing really is done on ground. Before I take this up and ask the BJP as to what is it really doing on ground, we have a reaction coming in from the Chief Minister as well, who's confirmed his visit to, remember, the water treatment facility that shut down due to waterlogging. So that's a tweet coming in. Also, we have callers who continue to dial us, viewers who want to really explain to us what the ground situation is. So quickly going across to Anand from Bengaluru. Good evening, Anand. Yes, what would you want to say?
Yeah, good evening, madam. In fact, you have taken up very good issue. You know, this has been happening for last so many years, and so many times it has been brought to the notice of BJP officers, Chief Minister, local MLA, in charge MLA. But so far the situation remains same only, and it is going to continue further. The reason is actually all illegal construction, encroachment of all the lake area, and there is no proper facilities to drain the water. And because of all these corrupt people, this kind of situation we are facing right now in Bengaluru. And this is solely responsible of the minister in charge.
So all in all, it's bringing a bad name to Bengaluru, to people who are working there, to the entire nation. I thank you for speaking to us, sir, this evening. Let me go across to Mr. Suresh. Sir, those are the questions being asked. You heard it from the fellow Bengalurians there, say that these are concerns, complaints that have been highlighted, pointed out time and again. The richest civic body perhaps, but little seen on ground.
So what is important to notice here is where the flooding has actually happened. If you see Bangalore, by and large, geographically, it is at a much higher altitude, and there are three main valleys. So one is the Kormangla-Chalgatta Valley, the other is the Hebbal Valley, and the third one is the Vrushbhavati Valley. If you see where the flooding has happened, it has happened exactly in these three places. If you look at the Bellandur Lake, it is part of a cluster called as a Varthur Lake cluster. So starting from the Agara Lake all the way up to Varthur Lake and beyond, up to Hoskote, there is a chain of lakes that existed, which was part of the erstwhile Kormangla-Chalgatta Valley. Now, what has really happened is that there have been massive urbanization, concretization of the entire valley. And the link between
but that's known to all, right? We have to make do with what we have. There is a city that's progressing at the pace it is, and things need to be kept in check to make sure at least the citizens who are living there, working there, are leading a comfortable life. So quickly listening into what our Bengalurians have to say, going back to Dwarkanath, who's calling us this evening from Bengaluru. Yes, good evening, sir.
I'm one Mr. Dwarkanath. I'm 80 years old. I have been witnessing this since so many years. When Congress was in power, they were most corrupt and they were doing work. But Now the BJP is in power, but they are not doing anything. And most actually, Mr. Pai and other IT giants, they have written a letter to the Mr. Narendra Modi, but I don't know whether he has taken any steps or not. I do not know. But the thing is, here the chief minister is not doing anything. That much I can say. Personally, he may be a good man.
So government after government have ended up disappointing the people, have turned down all the concerns raised by them. Let me go across to Mr. Sudeep calling us from Bengaluru. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, the thing is that only BBMP cannot manage the Bengaluru. We need an election. We need 4 to 5 municipalities across the Bengaluru where the mayor will be appointed. BBMP is an extremely corrupted body and only BBMP cannot turn this Bengaluru show. Try to hold the election, make the Bengaluru 5 to 6 civic bodies, elected the mayor and run the show. Only the vocal, the double engine government can do anything for Bengaluru. Nothing will happen. Even Prime Minister cannot do it. This Chief Minister is always keeping silent. So hold the election, elect the mayor and form the 6 civic bodies across the Bengaluru to solve this problem.
And that's what people are asking. Where are the thousands of crores really going, if not going in repair work, if not going in keeping in check the infrastructure of Bengaluru? Thank you, Mr. Sudeep, for calling us. I'll have to thank our guests also joining us this evening. We're running out of time. I'm afraid I can't take more comments from you. But yes, this is a top focus story here on Times Now, and we'll keep getting people's voices so that little change, at least to begin with, comes in. Thank you, gentlemen, for speaking to us.